So, you're thinking about moving to Indianapolis and looking for someone to give you the bottom line of what it's really like? Well, I'm about to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of living here in Indy. Hi, I'm Cara Conde, and welcome to another episode of Indy Vibe. Every day, we help people relocate and move around our city. So, if you're one of those who need some assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out. My number is listed below, and you can reach me by clicking the link somewhere around this video. All right, let's roll. So, on this video, I am going to give you some of the great things about living in Indianapolis and the not so great things. So, here are my top 3 good things about living here in Indianapolis. Number 1, the cost of living. Yes, by far, Indianapolis is the least expensive city I have lived in. And believe me, I have lived in so many different cities. I lived in Cancun, Mexico. Muy caro. Lived in Stockholm, Sweden. Jättedyr. Lived in Los Angeles, Oxford, San Francisco. Expensive, very expensive, ultra expensive. But living here in Indy, you're going to feel completely the opposite. Wow, less than $3 for a gallon of milk? I used to pay $7 in LA. And you see these beautiful homes with sprawling acreage, a backyard like a theme park with a fire feature incorporated in an infinity edge pool, and of course, the tennis courts. And a private gated driveway leading to this magnificent French Tudor home. And you look at the price and you're like, oh, is that a typo? I think it's missing a 0. It truly is a breath of fresh air. Okay, so I'm not really gonna get into much detail on this because I do have a video that is focused solely on the cost of living here in Indianapolis. So watch out for that. The bottom line is your money goes a long way here. You can live fairly well in Indy for a lot less money than in most major cities. And whether you're renting or buying, housing is still very affordable here, relatively speaking. Number 2, the job market. The employment scene here is excellent. So whether you're launching your career or just looking for a change, we have major employers in every conceivable industry. We got a very strong healthcare sector, rapidly growing tech industry, logistics, financial, transportation, utilities, education, and of course, real estate. Name it, we have it. We got big players in all of these industries, either headquartered here or have a major presence here. We got Eli Lilly, Anthem, Go Electric, Infosys, Salesforce, and the list goes on and on and on. So far so good. Low cost of living coupled with a very solid job market, a marriage made in heaven. Now, let's see if this marriage can have children. Well, we are in luck because number 3 is excellent schools. We have among the best schools in the nation. We rank way up there. Check it out. Google it. Whether you have small kids, middle schoolers, high schoolers, we got great public schools. Oh, and let's talk about universities. We have Notre Dame, Purdue University, IU, Ball State, Butler University, which is a small private university right here in the city. Oh, and speaking of private, since you are saving a lot of money on the cost of living, you may just consider sending your kids to a private school. And if you do, we have a lot of good ones here too. One that deserves a shout out is the Orchard School. It is a progressive private school, and the way they educate children is phenomenal. So check this out. So they put each kid on a zip line, let them sit still and tell them that's potential energy. Then they push them down the zip. Well, I don't know if they push them, but you get the picture. And these kids go zooming while having crazy fun, screaming kinetic energy. One thing for sure, they will never forget potential and kinetic energy ever again. My son like in 3rd or 4th grade, was collaborating with his classmates in building a miniature town. And they are discussing whether to put a bridge on one side of the town or a movie theater on another. That is like a city planning commission job at 3rd grade. I wish I got that kind of education. Just saying. Okay, so these are just a few of the pros. But let me give you the lowdown on some of the cons of living here, because not everything is perfect. And if you are serious about moving here, it helps to know some of these stuff. But first, my disclaimer. The cons that I will share on this video are based on my personal experience and opinion only, and may or may not coincide with general consensus. So if you don't like it, don't get mad, okay? With that out of the way, I will start with con number 1, public transportation. Our public transportation compared to other cities is fairly limited. So if you're moving to Indianapolis and you are the type of person who wants to go from point A to point B by hopping on a public transportation, and of course you don't want to spend too much money on like Uber or Lyft, well then there will be certain limitations on where you need to live in order to achieve that kind of lifestyle. Now, tell you a little bit about our public transportation. It is actually managed and operated by the city, specifically IPTC, that's the Indianapolis Public Transportation Company. But most people probably know it by the brand name Indigo. To their credit, Indigo is at least constantly looking for various ways to improve our public transportation. Here recently, they embarked on this Red Line project, and it's already in place. The line actually goes from 66th Street through Broad Ripple all the way to IUPUI, or Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. And the Red Line, according to them, is actually less than a quarter of a mile away from about 150,000 jobs and 50,000 residences. So there again, if you like that kind of lifestyle, you will need to live in the neighborhoods close to the Red Line, for instance. Okay, so on to number 2. Now, this is for me personally based on my experience as a transplant here in Indianapolis. The roundabouts. I don't really like them. Okay, so Carmel, which is a northern suburb here in Indy, and even if you're not from here, you probably know Carmel because we are always in the top 10 best cities to live in the US. Anyway, as of September of this year, 2021, Carmel has 140 roundabouts. It has more roundabouts than any city in the US. Okay, so maybe, just maybe, we got a little bit overzealous with the roundabouts. Just saying. Okay, I do know the stats, how it reduces fatal crashes, injuries, general accidents, but we're also going by the assumption that all the drivers that are going through the roundabouts are navigating them properly. Let's face it, and this is another stat, most US drivers are not used to roundabouts. I mean, I lived in San Francisco for 20 years and there was not a single roundabout there. I think now maybe there's one in Mission Bay, but that's 1 versus 140 in just one city. Okay, so it's really hard for me because my attention span is very limited. I have the attention span of a fruit fly. So in a roundabout, if I have to take the 3rd exit, by the time I get to the 2nd exit, my mind has gone somewhere else. So at that point, I just do the lap of shame. That's my problem with the roundabout. Oh, indulge me, I have a story. One time I was driving and my nav went in 1,000 feet, take the 4th exit at the traffic circle. 4th exit? Nuh-uh, that means I'm gonna do a U-turn unless it's a big, fat, gigantic roundabout with more than 4 exits. Well, what do you know? It is a big, fat roundabout from hell with 6 exits. Yes, you know what I'm talking about, Fishers. I think it's Fisher's way of beating Carmel because they can't get the award for the most number of roundabouts. So they built this ginormous, biggest, baddest roundabout from hell. Anyway, sorry, I just don't like them. But if you can deal with roundabouts, then maybe you won't mind my number 3, the potholes. Just last year, 2020, the city filled in not 50, not 500 or 5,000, not even 50,000, but 500,000 potholes in the city. I will give you a moment to absorb that. 500,000 potholes, and it doesn't even include the ones that they did not fix. I mean, we have an entire website for it. And it's not a cheap static website. It's actually fully dynamic. They put in some major money and resources into it. You can even heart your first pothole experience if you are so inclined. There is actually even a hotline to call in a pothole, and it just dynamically shows up in this website, I think. Now, if you hit a pothole and you incurred damage, you actually do have a recourse. You can file a tort claim against the city, and they have 90 days to approve or decline your claim. Honestly, I don't really know why they would ever decline one. I mean, how would that conversation go? Miss Conde, I'm sorry, but your pothole claim has been denied. But why?
Why?
Well, it was determined that the pothole had right of way. That was funny. But anyway, don't they always have the right of way? They never budge. You're gonna have to give way to them or they're gonna damage your car. So potholes are not exactly my friends. And it's good for you guys to know, just so you are prepared. Well, I hope this video gave you some insights into the pros and cons of living here in Indianapolis, at least from the point of view of a transplant like me. Okay, well, I help people every day move and relocate here, and I would love to help you as well. So if you have any additional questions about Indianapolis, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. And if you like this video and want to receive more videos that are focused on everything Indianapolis, make sure you subscribe below. My name is Cara with FC Tucker. Thanks for watching.